I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we will set the agenda. No action items in trustee seat recognition for goes to the chair at this time, please. Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to set the agenda. Motion been made by trustee Long, seconded by trustee Rockford. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The agenda is set. Clerk's report. Item number 1 is the presentation of the October 2nd, 2018 meeting minutes for approval. Any additions or corrections? These were emailed to you in advance of the meeting in draft form. Do you have any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented by the clerk? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to pass the minutes. Trustee Hahn makes a motion, seconded by trustee Gray. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Hahn?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford? Trustee Schultz? I'm sorry, trustee Tim? Yes.
That is 5 members voting yes, none voting no. The minutes are adopted and will be put on the village website for inspection. Next item is item number 2, the presentation of the October 2nd, 2018 executive session minutes. There can be no discussion on these minutes. We have these available for inspection. Motion to approve the executive session minutes. Motion to that effect. Trustee Tim makes a motion, seconded by trustee Rockford. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Hahn?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford? Trustee Tim? Yes.
5 members voting yes, none voting no. The executive session minutes are adopted. Presentation of the bills. These were also presented in your board member packet. Are there any questions regarding the bills? You have a brief synopsis of, going to get a brief synopsis for myself. 2 vehicles will be being paid off this month, in the next 2 weeks to come. The Ford 2014 Ford F-550, as well as the 2014 Tahoe. It is the 60th and final payment, so those 2 units will be completely paid off and owned by the village. There is a general obligation bond payment for our street overlay that we did when we paid, a lot of streets in the village of Sherman, pretty much all of Flagland, and then other various identified problem streets around town and other subdivisions and neighborhoods. So there's a bond payment regarding that. We will be making a sales tax distribution payment to the Department of Revenue for concession sales from the Village Park concert events and other events that took place there. Outside of that, there's nothing out of the ordinary. Any questions regarding the bills? Need approval to pay the bills, and like I said, you're going to be approving. The other bills are going to be final payments. What I talked about are going out the door as well. Seeing none, we need a motion to approve the bills for payment. Trustee Gray makes a motion. Is there a second? Second is made by trustee Hahn. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Hahn?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Tim?
Yes.
5 members voting yes, none voting no. The bills are approved for payments. Okay, the treasurer's report. Treasurer Stonewall was not going to be able to be in attendance.
That's correct.
So he cannot be here, but you did get your treasurer's report. Any questions regarding the treasurer's report? Need a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Trustee Tim makes a motion, seconded by trustee Long. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Hahn?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Tim?
Yes.
5 members voting yes, none voting no. The treasurer's report is adopted. The village engineer, he has this evening off. Legal report, anything from legal? Village administrator, economic development coordinator. President's report. Item number 1 is a resolution supporting WHS Community Unit School District number 15, a facility sales tax referendum. We had a presentation from Mr. Tip Reedy, our superintendent, a couple weeks back, and the board got to hear and see a PowerPoint presentation, was able to ask questions. Right now, a resolution sits on the table for action. I'll talk to each and every single one of the trustees. I know that we are comfortable in moving forward with adopting this resolution, which is why it is on the agenda. And that being said, I would ask if there are any trustees wishing to make any remarks or seeking recognition regarding this resolution. Okay, so let's get a motion to pass resolution as identified on the agenda. Is there a motion to that effect? Trustee Rockford makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Hahn. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Hahn.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Rockford. Trustee Tim.
Yes.
5 members voting yes, none voting no, the resolution will be so favorably reported.
Thank you very much.
Use it in any marketing materials that you wish.
We'll get you a copy of it too, once officially signed.
Next item, item number 2, is a sponsorship request from WHS, the After Prom Committee, an event for May 4th of 2019. I know that Trustee Hahn was approached regarding this. He called the administrative offices to put this on the agenda. This is nothing out of the ordinary. This is customary for what we've done for many years now. The recommendation from Trustee Hahn and what we've done in the past is to approve a payment of $500 to the After Prom Committee for a very safe and fun event for our high school prom students to attend. So I don't think there's any discussion, is there? None? Okay, Trustee Hahn makes a motion, correct?
Yes.
Seconded by Trustee Gray. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Hahn.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Rockford. Trustee Tim.
Yes.
5 members voting yes, none voting no. The payment will be transferred to the After Prom Committee for a great event. Item number 3 is an ordinance regarding the approval, to approve a bid from United Community Bank to finance the purchase of a new police vehicle. This was in our fiscal year 2019 budget. Do know that I just said that we have removed 2 other vehicles from the rolls. This vehicle will be financed and a loan will be guaranteed to the village from United Community Bank. The details are in your board packet. We've had a chance to review that. They were the lowest bidder. We received how many bids?
We went out on RFP with 4 financial institutions. We received 2 responses back. UCB gave it the lowest at 3.44%.
Any questions, discussion? Chief, anything to add regarding your fleet of vehicles?
It's replacing a 2008 Dodge Charger that has suffered maintenance problems over the summer. It's just worn out.
And is that the Dodge Charger that we got for free and won regarding the traffic safety
That was
program?
the following year, not the 2009.
Okay,
That's still in service.
okay. So, Trustee Tim, the public safety trustee?
Yeah, preliminary, the number is not to exceed on this.
Oh, it's, I'm sorry, it's $50,000.
Yes, I made a motion to that.
So a motion by Trustee Tim, not to exceed $50,000, to enter into the finance agreement with United Community Bank for the purchase of a police vehicle. Is there a second? Second by Trustee Long. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Hahn.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Rockford. Trustee Tim.
Yes.
5 members voting yes, none voting no. The police vehicle purchase is approved. Item number 4 is the ordinance regarding an intergovernmental agreement with Sangamon County, the Sangamon County Circuit Clerk. We have our very own Sangamon County Circuit Clerk, Paul Palazzolo, is here. He has been meeting with our staff and the police department chief and deputy chief regarding the DigiTicket electronic citation services program. Do you want to add anything, Mr. Palazzolo?
Just very briefly, ladies and gentlemen, this is a cooperative partnership with the Sangamon County Circuit Clerk's office, where it would provide equipment to the officers of the village of Sherman, so that if a motorist is stopped for speeding or another traffic violation, an officer would simply have the equipment in his or her vehicle to scan the back of the driver's license, so it would electronically transmit the information from the driver's license to the vehicle and a DigiTicket printed out to provide to the motorist. It does 2 things, very briefly. Enhances safety for the motorist and the officer because they're spending less time on the side of the road. It enhances efficiency for the circuit clerk's office because the information is transmitted electronically. It also saves time from officers driving downtown to drop off their tickets. So safety and efficiency are 2 great ways for this program to be successful, and I thank you all for your consideration of the program.
And there's numerous other participating departments around the county.
Riverton, Williamsville, Rochester, Pleasant Plains, Southern View. It's a program that we're working to initiate countywide to make it easier for officers to get that information efficiently to the county building so that there's no mistakes. And it's for safety reasons too, because there's less time spent on the side of the road.
I know, obviously it's on the agenda, but the chief of police, the deputy chief of police all endorse this as well, correct, guys? Nodding yes. Any questions, discussion? So this is an intergovernmental agreement we will enter into with the county. It's on the table as an action item. Trustee Tim, the public safety trustee, makes a motion to approve such intergovernmental agreement. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Rockford. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Crockett. Trustee Tim.
Yes.
5 members voting yes, none voting no.
Thank you all very much.
Intergovernmental agreement is passed. Thank you. We look forward to working with your office and with you. The next item, that's why we have a packed house tonight. Item number 5 is the Sherman Police Department Award Recognition Program. So Chief Banger, please come forward and get things set up, and then we'll move forward with the program.
Well, it's always an honor to have people recognized by the department for what they do in the community and how they assist public safety. So tonight we wanted to take the opportunity to invite some of the people that have assisted the police department notably and the community at large by their assistance. And tonight I'd like to call up Mike and Marilyn Sebring. Guys can come forward. And I'll read the citation. In recognition of the above-mentioned individuals, Mike and Marilyn Sebring, for their actions in reporting suspicious activity observed on August 20th, 2018, at approximately 9:25 a.m. this date, you observed a person in a remote, tall, grassy area behind your residence in Sherman. You called the police to come check on the welfare as you were uncertain if it was a homeless person or if they had stayed overnight, or if someone may have walked off from a nursing home. Both you and your spouse assisted police to follow-up calls to find the exact location. Your actions to call for police response resulted in the location of an elderly woman who had walked away from her apartment and fallen in the tall, wet grass and was unable to get up. Police requested the fire department and an ambulance respond to the scene, and the woman was soaked, lying in wet and muddy grass and appeared confused. She was transported to a Springfield hospital for treatment. By calling the police, you likely prevented a more serious medical emergency or death due to the exposure had it not been observed and reported. Your willingness to help in a time of need reflects great credit upon yourselves and our community. The second letter of appreciation that I'd like to confer tonight is to a resident that I don't think she is.
We get her daughter to you in about 5 minutes. She said she'll be here in about 5 minutes.
Well, then I will hold off on this. I guess we'll go forward with the, here we go.
Could I have Officer Taraski and Officer Craven please come forward? So we've done this in years past, but what we want to do this evening, somewhat moving on from the citizen recognition component of the Police Department Awards program, is to move to some of our officers and what they have been able to do. So what I'm going to do is read a letter of commendation for Officers Taraski and Officer Craven in recognition of professionalism, discretion, and proper judgment displayed on September 13th, 2018 at approximately 10:58 p.m. this date in response to an emergency dispatch for assistance. Officer Taraski and his assigned probationary officer David Craven responded to a report of a subject shot in the face at Riverside Park. A description of the suspect that had fled on foot toward the park exit was provided. Upon arriving on scene, they observed the suspect running near the exit and both officers gave chase. Believing the suspect to be armed, Officers Taraski and Craven used proper cover and concealment tactics and communicated effectively by radio while in foot pursuit. Officers closed on the suspect as he attempted to scale a chain link fence and overwhelmed him with verbal commands and officer presence. At the time he was taken into custody at gunpoint, he was carrying a cell phone in his hand. The firearm used in the offense was tossed during the chase and later recovered. Their response to this critical incident demonstrated successful and professional completion of a police task in the face of hazardous personal safety conditions. Officer Taraski and Craven's actions resulted in the quick apprehension of an armed and dangerous suspect, which reflect great credit upon themselves and the community they serve. So we would like to present them with these letters of commendation, be added to their personnel files and also to your cubicles. What's that? Oh, yeah. All right, so these guys do a bang-up job every single night that they're on duty, and I can't go without just ad-libbing about what I see personally from our department and all of our officers. Officer Taraski, Officer Craven, very, very, very good job. Those are some extenuating circumstances. We want to recognize you guys for that. The community thanks you. I thank you. Your chief thanks you. The board thanks you. Good job, great job. Keep up the great work, and we appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Deputy Chief Fulcher, if you could please come forward. This is going to be a meritorious service award in our Police Department Awards program. So I'm going to read from it. For meritorious service while serving as Deputy Chief of the Sherman Police Department from February 16, 2016 to present, Deputy Chief Fulcher performed his duties in a highly efficient, exemplary, and professional manner. He consistently manages tasks and completes all assignments. He organizes and schedules a variety of activities. He oversees or conducts all criminal investigations of the department, assigns follow-up investigations, supervises daily patrol operations, serves as a field training officer, crime scene investigator, and public information officer. He has recently secured a traffic safety mobilization grant through the Illinois Department of Transportation. His efforts have certainly made an outstanding contribution to the efficiency and effectiveness of the department and to the safety of the citizens of the Village of Sherman. His leadership is reflected in the professional performance of the officers, which has further enhanced the image of the department. The Sherman Police Department enjoys an outstanding reputation due in large part to Deputy Chief Chris Fulcher's dedication. His professionalism and devotion to duty reflects great credit upon himself and is in keeping with the highest traditions of the Sherman Police Department. Deputy Chief Fulcher, there's words on that page, but there's a lot that can't be put on that page for what you do, because it would be such a long list that I'd be reading from. This guy, our chief included, but this guy, since we're recognizing him tonight, other duties as assigned, it is this guy. He steps up. I can't tell you the countless hours that he puts in that most people do not recognize and do not see. His chief sees it, his fellow officers see it, I see it, some of the board members see it. This guy right here, he will be out there prior to any of the concerts, not in police uniform, in a t-shirt, banging posts in the ground, setting up the tape so that we can provide for parking for all of these events. He will be there the very next day, first thing in the morning, taking that stuff down and making sure that the park is cleaned up. Deputy Chief Fulcher goes above and beyond like nobody I've seen before. He puts forward so much commitment and dedication to this community and his department and his chief that it is unrivaled. This Meritorious Service Award is presented to you this evening in great appreciation for all of your efforts and everything that you do. It doesn't go unrecognized. I try to tell you thank you as much as I can, and I know you just brush it off because it's just who you are. It's just part of the job in your mind, but in our minds, it's not just part of the job. It is going above and beyond. It is doing for the community what most don't do, can't do, and will not do. So that all being said, buddy, I appreciate it. I think the community appreciates it, and just keep it up, and we'll keep moving forward together as a department, as the deputy chief. So I don't know if you want to say anything, Chief.
I would echo all that and then some. And he hates this stuff. But, you know, you just can't let this kind of service and dedication go without recognition. So I want to say thank you. We really appreciate it, and you know, that's it. One final letter of appreciation we want to bestow this evening to our latecomer.
Sorry, I should have had that.
She warned me when I contacted her that she had to check the sports schedule. So, Sandy, can you come on up?
Sure.
Citation. So this is a letter of appreciation for another one of our citizens. In recognition of the above-mentioned individual, Sandy Walters, for her actions in recognition of suspicious activity observed on September 13th, 2018. At approximately 8:47 a.m. this date, you observed two suspects walking in the area of 1st and Meredith Streets in Sherman. The subjects were attempting to flag down passing motorists claiming they had car trouble. Due to their appearance or the result of your instincts, you called the police for assistance. Your actions to call police response resulted in the quick apprehension of two fugitives wanted for escape from custody from Alabama Sheriff's work detail and the recovery of a stolen vehicle that they had abandoned nearby. Additionally, your timely call to police likely prevented an additional crime, that is to say a carjacking or a stolen vehicle offense in furtherance of their escape. Your willingness to help out in a time of need reflects great credit upon yourself and our community.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank Chief Banger for putting all of the police department awards program stuff together. A lot of things I said about Deputy Chief Fulcher can be said certainly about Chief Banger. Sometimes when you're in the leadership role, you got to hand out the awards as opposed to getting the awards. So tonight was their night, but I tell the audience and I'll tell everybody that Chief Banger, he goes above and beyond like no other as well. Other duties as assigned, things that he does just to step up and volunteer, his wife included. They're taking tickets or taking money at the admissions at the concerts and various different things around town. Always stepping up, always giving in, always going the extra mile. So I can't say thank you enough to you. I see it. I'm privileged to see it. A lot of the community doesn't get to see what you do, but I do, and your fellow officers do as well. So just in recognition of you as well this evening, I want to say thank you from myself, the board, the citizens of the Village of Sherman, and your fellow officers. So thanks for everything that you do. Okay, so let's move to the committee and department reports. Are there any trustees seeking recognition, anything under your departments? Nothing. Chief Banger, anything under police outside of what we just did? Nothing? Okay, let's see. Sherman Emergency Management Agency is Director Moses. He's excused this evening. Public Works, I think we gave them the night off as well. New business, there is no new business to come before the board. There's no old business to come before the board. There's no civic organization seeking recognition. Moves us to the public comment period of the agenda, which I have, let's see here, a few individuals who've signed in. I have two that have signed in and wish to speak and address the board. Under the board policy, you will have 3 minutes to address the
Mayor
board.
Clatfelter, I'd like also to speak, but I got here late.
Okay. So the first individual who will be recognized for 3 minutes will be Mr. Jerry Hopgood of 3315 South Road. Mr. Hopgood, if you could please come forward. I'll set the timer. I'll start when you start.
I'm Jerry Hopgood. I live at 3315 7th Road here in Sherman. I was here some time back requesting a payment for a sign that the village had removed and destroyed. I want to know now, when and how am I going to be reimbursed? I'd like to know now.
We can meet afterwards, but I will have to discuss the issue with you. I guess I can tell you right now. Did you file a permit?
I filed with Mike Stratton, the bill, and he was supposed to take care of it.
No. Did you file a permit to put the sign up?
And there's no such thing. I lived here for 44 years, know nothing about it.
Well, we can talk after the meeting, because this is a time for public comment for you to address the board. I'll meet with you after tonight's meeting. I'll meet with you tomorrow, whenever it is convenient in your schedule. But there is a process for putting signs up around town. We do have a code, we do have rules, and we have to adhere to those. When signs when signs are out and they're out in the easements, it affects the efficiency and operation of our public works departments in terms of mowing. There are reasons why the code, and it's been in the code long before myself and long probably before you even been here, but it's been in the code for the Village of Sherman, it's been in the code for pretty much every town in the United States. There's a process for putting up signs. You have to meet certain standards, you have to let the village know, and there's also an efficiency standard that we have to take into account in terms of how many signs are in easements regarding our public works department, when they're gonna mow and have to pull those signs. So we can meet after the meeting. I'll stick around and talk to you as long as you want. And we'll
Well, I'm
address it.
asking, why didn't they call me? The number was right on the sign. I would have been happy to remove it.
Okay.
We didn't have to go through this.
We'll
So
talk
I
about it.
would really like to know, as far as your ordinance was not aware of it
Okay, well, we'll talk about it afterwards. I'll bring it up.
tonight.
Yes. Yeah, whenever you want to meet, I'll meet with you.
I want to meet tonight.
That's fine, we'll meet tonight. Thank you, sir. The next individual who signed in would like to address the board is Mr. Josh Carter. Josh?
I'm good.
You're good? Mrs. Walden?
My only question, well, you answered a couple of the questions, about the new vehicle that's being purchased. You said it's replacing the 2008 Dodge Challenger or Charger or whatever. And, but you didn't, and you said it was not to exceed $50,000, but you didn't say what kind of vehicle we're buying.
Okay, it's a 2018 Chevrolet Tahoe.
Okay. We bought, a new Silverado in
Ms.
2016.
Ms. Walden, I have to stop you. This is public comment period.
Okay,
So if you want to address the board, we're going to listen to the public comment.
I'm
But it-
addressing.
Right, I know, but it's not going to be a back and forth dialogue.
Okay, I
I will
know.
meet with you after the board meeting as well, if you would like to, as well as any board members that you want to meet with.
Okay, I just wanna, I'm making a statement.
No, I know, it's just customary that when you go and speak before city councils, Sherman, pick your town, doesn't matter what town it is, they come forward and they present what they want to comment on in a public comment period.
Okay,
So-
I've got a comment.
Yep.
So we bought a 2016 Chevy Silverado that Chief Boehner drives, and we bought a 2017 Chevy Tahoe that Deputy Chief Bolcher drives. And so now we're buying a 2018, another Chevy Tahoe. I'm not sure who's gonna be driving it, but, we've got a 2014 Chevy Tahoe that Mr. Entringer drives, and, a Chevy, or a Dodge Ram 13 that Mr. Trasky drives, and a 2010, I think, Ford Expedition that Mr. Howard drives. So we have 7 full-time employees on the police department and 3 part-time employees. Is it the goal of the board to buy a every full-time employee to have a car that they can drive and park at their house? Because we have at least 2 police vehicles at the police department all the time parked. So I'm just wondering how many new vehicles we need, and, I mean, all of them except for, I think the one you're replacing have less than 100,000 miles on them, so I'm not sure why we need to keep replacing with new vehicles and is the equipment, some of the equipment off of the 2008 Dodger, like Dodge, like the light bar and the computer docking station and those things, are they gonna be reused, or are we buying everything all new again? So that's my comment.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Okay, that concludes the individuals who have signed in wishing to address the board. Which brings us to the next item on the agenda, and that is the executive session. So the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session under 5 ILCS 120/2C5. Is there a motion to that effect? Trustee Long makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Tim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. What I have to state for the record right now, and all of the individuals in the audience, is that due to the construction of this building, us holding this meeting at this building, there is no place for us to retire to hold executive session. So what I have to do is I have to ask everybody to essentially vacate the chamber that aren't entitled to the chamber. I will let you know that when we come back from executive session, there will be no action taken other than to bring us back into regular session and then adjourn the meeting. So that being said, I want to wish everybody a good rest of the evening. I want to thank all of our police department, thank our citizens for stepping up and noticing suspects, unusual activity. So have a good night, everybody.